What's up, everyone? This is Land the Man here with another episode of Cheeseheadz Weekly. It is Tuesday, June 20, and I have a special announcement, exclusive, mainly exclusive, to you all, and some of you are already part of this, but we're looking for maybe one or two more players in our Dynasty League. It's possible we find um, the last one or two to get 12 players here before too long, and we won't need anyone else. But if you would like to play Dynasty Fantasy Football, or I specifically started a league. We got Robin and Troy. Will be playing. They've been on the show before. Some of the show's supporters, like Alex, who has sent in a voice message, he will be playing as well. Should be a lot of fun. Half PPR lead, non-super flex. It's Dynasty, um, and the scoring is a little bit customizable, but there's no kicker. But we will have a defense. And yeah, more details. If you decide you want to join, you can send me an email at landrymartin21@gmail.com. That will be in the description of every episode. It always is. And so you can check that out. And that will that'll be happening. Hopefully, we'll be doing the draft here for that before too long. So I'm looking to get players lined up here pretty quickly. Um, So yeah, it'd be great to get some of you guys on there. I would not be surprised at all if some of you that listen to the show like fantasy football, or maybe you played fantasy football, maybe you haven't, maybe you want to try Dynasty. That's where I'm at pretty much. I played fantasy football and um, yeah, wanted to try Dynasty, and we got a lot of first timers, but also some more experienced players as well. So without further ado, we will proceed to get into the episode a little bit here. Um, Before we do that, though, there's the Q&A and polls on Spotify every episode. So participation there would be nice. It's always great to see um, all that, the support through that. It seems like it's been a long time since I last did an episode. Man, that was a really fun one, so definitely check that out. There's a link in the description of every episode, every platform. Send in a voice message. That would be very nice. You can send in a question, disagreement, topics you want to see on the show in the future. The show is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Pandora, and of course my website as well. Every single episode, every single week is on the website, so you can just listen to it there if you happen to want to. Although my guess is, if you're using a phone, it would probably work better if you're using an app like Spotify. But new episodes coming out every Tuesday. Hit the bell icon wherever you can, be notified when a new episode comes out. Tell your friends about the show. Tell your friends about the show. Sorry. Rate the show. That'd be nice too. Um, Thanks for all the support. It's much appreciated, even though I keep drilling into your head every time we have an episode. Sorry to make this take so long every time. I know you want to get into the topic, so let's do that. We're going to do a division preview. I'm going to do a series where I preview every division. Obviously, the NFC North is going to be in the most detail since the Packers division, but I will preview every division. Possibly we'll have a guest or two on the show for that. I don't know. And then, so yeah, today we are previewing the AFC South. Somewhat underwhelming division overall. I did want to comment briefly on some comments being made. The Bears Packers rivalry is apparently alive and well. Uh, we had defensive tackle Justin Jones. Tell you what, he was going at it. I mean, somewhat unprompted, asked a question, kind of just went off trail there about. I think he was asked about what it's going to be like not having Aaron Rodgers there in the division. He's like, "Oh, I wish he would have stayed. Wanted to play with him and beat him." And then he went and made some stupid comment about Packers fans. That they are, never mind, I won't say that. You can go see for yourself if you really want to see what he said. Definitely will not repeat that on the show. Um, so he said they're obnoxious. They don't know nothing about football. Those weren't his, not his exact words, but basically what he said. If you want to, you can go look it up yourself. Don't worry, I'm not fudging the details just because I'm a Packers fan. I'm a little bit more level-headed than some Packers fans for sure. I can tell you that much. Uh, I mean, when you're a fan of a team and you have this heated of a rivalry, things tend to go a little bit wild, sideways, a little bit wonky at times. So obviously, I never really read too much into it, but uh, people keep talking about this video that Jordan Love sent out saying something about, "Hey, Bears fans, happy Father's Day, go Pack go," and he's like holding back a grin, and they think he's trying to rip the Bears somehow. To be honest, seems like a pretty honest. I mean, he was in France for something or other. I forget exactly what. To be honest, I didn't research this very much, and people are kind of going off. He went and clarified. He's like, "I'm not getting after the Bears." It's kind of interesting that everyone's really interested in it, and happy Father's Day again to everyone. So whatever. I mean, sounds like he met a Bears fan in France, and so then he did that after he took a selfie with the Bears fan, and that's what he said. Then posted that on social media too, or no, maybe not. Maybe someone else posted that video, took that video of him saying that, and posted it. I have no idea. Very random, and people seem to be reading too much into it. I really don't get what the thoughts are behind that. They don't really make a ton of sense to me, but that's okay. A lot of things don't make sense to me, so I will just leave it at that, and we will go straight in to the AFC South division preview. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go over their schedule. We're going to look at a little bit, very briefly at strength of schedule. Um, and then, and that obviously factors in to where I'm ranking them as well. And then as we'll go over their schedule, each team's schedule, figure out the wins and losses of each team, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and rank the teams here. We're gonna go. Jaguars will win the division. The Houston Texans will go up to second in the division, and the Colts will be third. Titans will be fourth. So, last year Jaguars were first in the division, then it was Titans, then it was Colts, then it was Texans. So I have Texans going all the way up to second, Colts staying put at the third place, and Titans going all the way down the last. So pretty much Texans and Titans swap. That could be a little bit of a hot take. I don't really think so. The Titans, I guess their team probably isn't that much different, so there's still that possibility. I mean, last year they were 7-10, so it's not like they were anything special last year either. But They don't really have a very complete team at all, and I don't really think that their team. I realize they do have Ryan Tannehill, the veteran quarterback. Some of these other, like the Colts and Texans, have rookies at quarterback. I don't know. I mean, the Titans did draft Will Levis too, and they still have Malik Willis, second rounder and third rounder, respectively. So it's hard to tell what's going to happen there. If you ask me, Tannehill is easily should be the starter next year. Just there's no way those guys should pass him up. Now, what the Titans will do, I don't really know. I mean, certainly possible. They want to put Will Levis in. I mean, but yeah, drafting what look like quarterbacks that could be Tannehill's successor 2 years in a row is a little bit strange. Which tells you how high they are on Malik Willis, right? But anyway, let's look at their schedules. So we'll start with the Titans. Their first week 1, they play New Orleans. I'll put that down as a loss. They will play the Chargers in week 2. That's a loss. They will play at Cleveland. By the way, week 1 was at New Orleans. Then they go to at home versus the Chargers. They go to Cleveland to play the Browns. This one could be a little closer. I think Cleveland wins. They will play the Bengals in week 4 at home. That is for sure a loss. So 4 straight losses. They will open up the season, is my projection. Then in week 5, they play their first division game versus the Colts, and I think they're going to win this one. It is in Indianapolis, but I think at this point, Anthony Richardson won't be very far in his development. They'll be kind of floundering a little bit. I feel like the Colts will be better towards the end of the season. At least if Johnny Taylor stays healthy. So we're going to say they get their first win in week 5 at Indianapolis. Then they go back home, play Baltimore, and lose again. Their bye week is week 7. Week 8, they stay home, play Atlanta. Now this one could be pretty close, and I am going to say that it is another win for them. Their second win of the season, coming off the bye week, they'll be well rested, and we'll say that's a win. Then they go to Pittsburgh. I believe they're going to lose that game in week 9. At Tampa Bay in week 10. This one could be close too, to be perfectly honest. But I don't know. I think we're going to say that's a loss. I think Tampa Bay will be good enough to beat them. Well, it is at Tampa Bay. I guess we'll make that the tiebreaker. Play another division game then finally in week 11 versus Jacksonville at Jacksonville. Definitely a loss. Versus Carolina in week 12. I'm going to put that down as a loss. Week 13 versus Indianapolis. We're going to say that is a loss as well. Week 14, they'll be at Miami. I'm going to put that down as a loss for sure. Week 15 at home versus Houston. I'm going to say that's a win. I think they'll win one of their games versus Houston. So they will get their third win in week 15. Week 16 versus Seattle at home. They still lose. At Houston, week 17, it's a loss. Week 18 versus Jacksonville, also a loss. Now, is that a little bit a little bit much to say the Colts are going to lose all but 3 games. It very well could be. uh, yeah, it very well could be, but, or sorry, did I say the Colts? I meant the Titans are going to lose all but 3 games. But that is going to be my prediction. Be that as it may, we'll see what happens, but that's going to be my prediction here. And if you look at last year, the Texans were a 3-win team. So yeah, it's tough to know, but that's what I'm gonna go with. So we will now go with the Colts. Let's look at their schedule. By the way, if we're looking at strength of schedule, I forgot to mention this. The Colts have the 3rd easiest schedule. The Texans have the 7th easiest schedule. Titans have the 9th easiest schedule. So Jacksonville has the hardest schedule at number 12. And then the rankings 1 to 32, easiest to hardest. Jacksonville is the hardest schedule. Then it is the Titans. They all have 12. 12 is the highest rank. So they all have semi-easy schedules. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Titans are definitely they're projected to get more wins than both the Colts and the Texans, but that's what I'm going to go with. So, yeah, let's go over the Colts. They have the easiest schedule of anyone in this division. And so let's see here. They're starting Anthony Richardson at quarterback. And then, likely, I would think he's going to be the week 1 starter. They do have Gardner Minshew on the roster, so that's a possibility. They have Jonathan Taylor at running back, which if he can stay healthy is really nice. Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce as returning receivers. They do have Isaiah McKenzie as well. Ashton Dulin, Brashad Perryman as pretty good backup options, and then their wide receiver 3 according to ESPN, their projected wide receiver 3 is Josh Downs, 2023 draft pick. 2nd-year tight end Jelani Woods, he was pretty good, especially in the red zone. Their O-line should be pretty good, especially their left side looks really nice. Plus they have draft pick Blake Freeland as the projected backup at left tackle, which this should be pretty nice. The right side, to be honest, I do not really know the names, but they really struggled as an O-line last year. But it looks like they should be a pretty good O-line. Their defense, I think, can be pretty good. Depends on how they play, obviously. But I think they have enough talent sprinkled in different areas that I think they can do something there on defense. So let's go to their projected win totals. They start out the season versus Jacksonville at home. That is going to be a loss. They go to Houston. In week 2. And I'm going to put that down as a loss as well. Could be a very interesting game, actually. 2 rookie quarterbacks. But I'm going to put it down as a loss for them. Week 3, they play Baltimore at Baltimore. That's going to be a loss. Week 4, they play at home versus Los Angeles. I'm going to say that's a win. No, that's going to be a very tough win. That's a little bit pushing it maybe for what they can do, but you never know. I'm just going to say that they upset Los Angeles there. Week 5, they lose to Tennessee, as we already said, at home. They go to at Jacksonville. Their second game at Jacksonville is at week 6 already. They are going to lose that one. At home versus Cleveland. That's going to be a loss in week 7. Week 8 at home versus the Saints. I'm going to put that down as a loss as well. Week 9, they will play the Panthers. This is interesting. I think this could be a pretty close game. Has the potential to be. It's at Carolina though, and I'm going to say put that down as a loss. And they stay on the road versus New England in week 10. That is a loss. They have a bye week and then go home to play Tampa Bay in week 12. That's going to be a win. Week 13 at Tennessee. I'm going to say they win that one. Week 14 at Cincinnati. Definitely a loss. At home versus Pittsburgh. That will be a loss. So, at Atlanta for week 16 at Atlanta. I'm going to go ahead and call that a win versus Atlanta. And then versus Las Vegas. That's going to be a loss, even though it's at home. In 17, week 18, they will be playing at home versus Houston. It's tough to predict. I'm going to say they win that one. I'll say they win their second game versus Houston there in week 18. And that puts them down for 5 wins, 12 losses for the Colts. 2 wins. 2 games ahead of the Titans. So, next up we have the Texans. So, the Texans, at quarterback is C.J. Stroud. Backup is Davis Mills, who started last year. Pretty much the whole year, I think, except for maybe a few games when he was injured. I'm not sure. Didn't follow him too closely since they were a 3-win team last year. Then Case Keenum is there. Third string QB. I'd say they do good to put all those 3 all on the 53-man roster. Either way, that's kind of besides the point. Dameon Pierce is projected to be the starting running back as he was as a rookie last year. Hopefully he'll build off that. I think he'll do quite well with Devin Singletary filling in for him. That should be a nice room with Mike Boone and Dario Ogunbowale behind those two. Robert Woods, Nico Collins, and John Mechie III. We get to see him play after battling cancer. So we'll see if he's rusty or how he ends up playing. Noah Brown, Nathaniel Dell, and Tank Dell would be the name. His real name's Nathaniel, but Tank. Definitely not built like a tank. But rookie is Xavier Hutchinson. I'm having trouble saying names here, but he's also a rookie. They do have Amari Rogers, who actually played pretty well for them, mainly because he wasn't a returner. that would help things if you use him for what he's meant to be used for. Dalton Schultz at tight end. They paid up for him in free agency, and their backup is someone I've never heard before. I've heard of Brevin Jordan, who's their third string. I would have thought he was a backup, but whatever. Maybe this guy is better than I think he is. They even have a fullback, Andrew Beck, and their O line should be pretty good. I mean, yeah, I'd say pretty good. Recent draft pick, I believe, at left guard, if I remember right, and Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Shaq Mason right guard, to highlight a few. They drafted Will Anderson to play defensive end. I think their defense can actually be pretty good. They have a recent draft pick there, Derek Stingley Jr. Also, they got Jalen Petrie, recent draft pick as well. I believe last year's draft, 2022, both of those guys. Jimmy Ward at safety, that's pretty solid. So I think they can do something there. They got Sheldon Rankins at defensive tackle, which is you see him around different places, kind of a stopgap type guy. To look at their strength of schedule, they are ranked number 7, so fairly easy schedule for them. So let's go and see if we can predict what their wins look like. So week 1, they will play Baltimore at Baltimore. That's going to be a loss. Then they will play at home versus Indianapolis. And I'm going to say they win that one. At Jacksonville, they lose that one. Versus Pittsburgh at home for week 4. We're going to say that's a loss. At Atlanta, we're going to say that's a win. They're in week 5. Week 6 versus the Saints at home. We're going to say that's a loss. Week 7 is their bye. Then they go to Carolina to play Carolina. Interesting. The two guys that were in conversation for the number 1 overall pick, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, will battle it out, and I'm going to say that C.J. Stroud comes out on top. Even though I think Bryce Young was the right pick for Carolina, I'm not disputing that. But should be an interesting matchup. Week 9, they'll go home to play Tampa Bay. I think they're going to win that one. They go to Cincinnati. No, thank you. They go back home, play Arizona. I think that's another win. Week 12, Jacksonville at home. Nope. 13, Denver at home. Nope. Week 14, at New York. And we're going to say no. I think Rodgers and company can deal with that one. Whew. Tell you what, got a cramp right there in the middle of the show. That was rather painful, but worked out the kinks and we're back at it. So week 15 is at Tennessee. I think they're going to be honest, I literally forget what I said about Tennessee when I was looking at their schedule. Like, did they win any games versus the Texans? I don't remember. If I was going to say the Texans lost any, it would be the one at Tennessee here, week 15. Hopefully I'm not... I really don't remember. Maybe Tennessee lost both games to the Texans. Could certainly be possible. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I didn't prepare very well for this. But we're just gonna say they beat Tennessee here. They go to they're home versus Cleveland in 16. They're gonna lose that one. At home versus Tennessee, they'll win that one again. And at Indianapolis in week 18, We're gonna, yeah, they lose that one. So they're gonna go 6-11, one win more than the Colts. It could almost be more than that, but yeah, um, yeah, 6-11. The Jags. Now I'm pretty high on the Jags here. They got Trevor Lawrence. They got Travis Etienne. They got Dearness Johnson as their fourth running back, boys. That dude was good in Cleveland and definitely, absolutely deserves to be the second back. I'm not sure why he is projected at fourth. Um, and then Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones looking good there with Jamal Agnew, Parker Washington, recent drafted this year. Behind them, some of the guys I know. Evan Ingram, starting tight end. They drafted Brenton Strange to back him up. They have a fullback, Derek Parrish. Never heard of him. They have a left tackle, Cam Robinson, but it says he's suspended. I did not realize he was, and so who knows when he's coming back. Uh, their offensive line, I think, should be maybe in the middle somewhere. I'm not sure how good it will be, but defense should be pretty good. They got Devin Lloyd. Hopefully he can continue his development. So I don't. He was a nice draft pick. Most of them thought he was better than Quay Walker, who was the first linebacker selected in that draft, 2022 draft. Um, we'll see about that. Quay Walker's pretty good too. They got Trayvon Walker from that draft. Tyson Campbell, he was a recent draft pick. I forget exactly which draft. It might have been that draft too. Seems like they've been drafting pretty good. Darius Williams, I remember him from the Rams. He was good with the Rams. I guess he's good with Jacksonville as well. Rayshawn Jenkins, Andre Cisco at safety. And some of their free agent dudes. They got Josh Allen, a draft pick from a little while ago now. At one linebacker position there too. They have a 3-4 defense. Looks like they picked up Brandon McManus, who was released by the Broncos, and so kicker looks pretty good. Jamal Agnew is their punt returner and kick returner, and if I recall correctly, he is a pretty good returner. So that's pretty nice. Like I said, they have the hardest schedule in the division, and they are 12th in the rankings. So they are, middle of the pack, above the middle of the pack as far as easy schedules. So still a fairly easy schedule for them. That's always nice. They start off week 1 at Indianapolis. Now, if you remember correctly, I actually remember correctly on this one. They they won all their division games. So I have them projected to beat Indianapolis in week 1. Week 2, they are at home versus Kansas City. I think it's gonna be closer than some people think. Should be a fun game, but they're gonna lose that one. They'll play Houston at home. They'll win that one. Atlanta at home. They'll win that one. Then they have to go to Buffalo and play there. I don't see it. I don't see them winning that one. Then they'll play Indianapolis at home. That's a win. They play the Saints at the Saints. I think they're going to win that one. Then they play at Pittsburgh. That's going to be a win too. Then they go home, they have a bye week in week 9. They're well rested, and then they go home, but they play San Francisco. And that's not going to work. They're going to lose that one. They play at home versus Tennessee, then they win that one. Play at Houston, win that one. They play at home versus the Bengals. This one could be really fun. Could be a really close battle of two former number one overall picks. It could be a really fun game. I don't know. I guess I will say they don't win that one, which sounds bad. Sounds like they're going to drop all of their really hard games, but whatever. And then they go to play Cleveland. They win that one. They win versus Baltimore at home in Week 15, I'm going to say. And then at home versus Carolina, I'm going to say they win that one. At Tennessee in Week 18, they win that one too. Wow. Interesting. So their losses came. Interesting how I ended up here. They lost. I say they lost to Cincinnati, San Francisco, Buffalo, and Kansas City. The only real top tier teams they're playing. That's only 4 losses, folks, and I have them projected to go 13-4. They could definitely come out on top in some of those hard games. It's possible. So 13-4 is what I'm going to say for them. So I'm projecting a big season for Jacksonville. I'm high on them. I like their fantasy players. Oh, sorry. So I think they have a lot of good young talent. And Calvin Ridley, I think, is going to be rusty. But I mean, they still got their receivers from last year. Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, those guys are great. Evan Ingram was really nice. Really nice player, and I think their defense can play pretty well too. So we'll see if they can achieve that. But my final for the division: Jags win the division, go 13-4. Texans will be second with a record of 6-11. The Colts are third. They go 5-12. The Titans fourth, 3-14. Everybody with a losing record except for the Jags, who are far and away the best team in that division. I have them 7 games ahead of the Texans. It might not be that bad, but the Texans and Colts could do worse too. The Titans could do better. It could fluctuate a lot, but this is my predictions. To be honest, I didn't do probably enough research on this, but I kind of went spur of the moment, just went as I went. You know what I'm saying? So you can tell that because the episode went long, kind of droned around. I apologize if this is going to be really boring to you, but I had some fun doing this, and should be fun doing the other division previews, especially when we get to the NFC North. Of course, that one, the only real division in the NFL. So, yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Be sure to participate in the Q&A and poll in this episode and in other episodes. Check out my website at graycove.net/cheeseheadz, spelled with a Z. And be sure to tune in every Tuesday for a new episode of the show. Join our Dynasty League. The sooner you email, the bigger the chance you have of getting in. So shoot me an email, and I can get you the invite link and get you in the league and give you some details if you're looking for that. You have any questions or anything, feel free to ask me. I have an article about that on the website as well that some of you might have already seen. But that's all for today. I will talk to you later next week, and we will do a division preview of the AFC East. That's all for now. Goodbye.